Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I actually am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
She keeps going missing.
I'm not missing, I'm just busy.
She's very, very busy. She's been sorting all those toys, getting them out to kids in need.
Orders out, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so thank you very much for the support, guys.
Yes, thank you.
We're going to talk about Star Wars. Actually, we have a couple of videos that have been sitting here for a day or two, but this was pretty interesting. We're going to follow up on all the announcements from Disney Investor Day 2020 regarding like 10 new Star Wars projects.
Ridiculous.
And we're going to zero in specifically on the Ahsoka series because this might confirm some of those YouTube rumors that Lucasfilm was considering just rebooting, retconning out of existence the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
And there's a loophole here, and we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about how some media outlets are not very happy about Star Wars treading familiar ground. They want the all new, all different Star Wars.
Right, because they tried that, and it made so much money. Wait, no, it didn't.
It didn't. It didn't do well. It didn't do well at all. That's what they got to do, is they got to make money, right? Then we're going to talk about the supposedly gender-neutral Star Wars apparel based on the original trilogy.
It is. That's all original trilogy.
That's everything now is original trilogy. So before we get into it, guys, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We're almost 160,000 subs. Thanks for the support. And check out our merch store at shopclownfish.com. We actually have the Kneon and Geeky pin pack, which is you got 8 days left to pre-order these.
Right. Again, like the last time, whatever's ordered's ordered, and that's it.
Yeah, and what happened with the Bubbly Steve pins is they found another like 100 or so of them that they threw into the store.
I think they probably order extra to make sure that they had, in case there's a damage or something. So they were the extra ones.
Yep, and we have also got some holiday merch on there and some other merch. The Suck a Peach mugs have been incredibly popular. So thanks for the support, guys.
Pinky Boo keeps wearing her Suck a Peach sweat hoodie every day.
She does.
As soon as it's washed, it's on her body again. She loves it.
Well, that's her catchphrase.
It is. She just loves it.
All right, guys, so they put this up on Bounding into Comics talking about the Ahsoka series, which is going to be a spin-off of The Mandalorian. And the word on the street is there is something hidden in the logo that could indicate that they're actually thinking about doing that crazy-ass retcon.
That Veil of the Force.
The Veil of the Force, yeah. I thought that was insane. I know there were some YouTubers out there talking about it. I think Doomcock was one of the first ones talking about that he had someone from Lucasfilm come to him and say they have an out. They build an out in Rebels where basically it's Star Wars time travel, and they can go back and just erase the sequel trilogy completely and go off in a totally different direction. Now, there's been some talk too about alternate timelines and all this other crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, that's what that Headland story. It's going to be an alternate timeline, alternate powers, alternate universe, whatever the hell it's supposed to be.
Yeah, we've seen it done before. I mean, look at what they're doing with Star Trek. They had the J.J. Abrams movie basically reset the Star Trek universe.
And we know how well those went.
Yeah, it went really well. But there's been precedent in Star Trek because time travel has been part of Star Trek since the beginning. Mm-hmm. Time travel has not really been involved in Star Wars. So this would be kind of a coup to be like, oh yeah, we're just going to use time travel to retcon the sequel trilogy out of existence.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that, and then we'll talk about how some people are salty that we're going back to the well of marketable characters.
Right. How dare we go back to classics, even though they've been going back to classics for merchandise, because the new stuff doesn't flip and sell. Yeah.
So, we did a video before talking about Kathleen Kennedy announcing like a bajillion, like literally everybody gets a freaking series.
Yeah, you get a series and you get a series. Yeah, I was trying to keep up with this and I'm like, I can't even keep up with this. There's too many boom, 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 boom.
Where the hell is Cooking with Greedo?
Cooking with Greedo.
I want to see Cooking with Greedo. But
why Cooking with Greedo?
Because he got cooked.
Oh,
he's crispy.
Okay.
Crispy Greedo.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so
I would have gone with Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen, but
Oh my God. Yeah, that would be horrible, Aunt Beru. She's been cooked. So anyway, they added some info about Ahsoka, saying that it is a spinoff of The Mandalorian. They showed us the logo. Most of these shows only exist as logos.
Right, pretty much.
That was kind of funny. It's like, hey, you got a week. Can you crap out some logos? I'm going to give you a Lando Calrissian. We're going to give you droids. We're going to give you, just make up some logos.
We're just going to look, we have a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, right. But Doomcock, who I think originated this rumor, and again, people, look, there are a lot of unfounded rumors on YouTube. He was also the one who basically outlined the entire plot of The Rise of Skywalker per his Lucasfilm Insider. And it was all true.
Right. All of it.
All of it. So, when he says, I've got somebody from Lucasfilm saying that they could possibly use this as an out, and this was stated like a year ago that they were looking at possibly
it's
just
been a while.
retconning everything because the sequel trilogy was such a disaster. It perks up your ears a little bit and you listen. So he said that the title card for Ahsoka, seen above, is the Veil of the Force, or the World Between Worlds, that was introduced in Dave Filoni's Star Wars Rebels Path of the Jedi. Yeah, in that episode, Ahsoka could Ezra time traveled, I guess. I didn't watch a whole lot of Rebels. I did see that scene. It's kind of like, oh, don't do time travel in Star Wars. But sometimes that's the only way you can unfuck something, is to go back in time. It's like Back to the Future.
But the memory will always stay with you.
With you, but not with the people and the persons that got unfucked.
That's right.
Back to the Future. They unfucked and there was no more Marty McFly.
Right.
So that's what we've learned. So the World Between Worlds was introduced in the Path of the Jedi. It wasn't fully explored until a World Between World episode. In that episode, Ezra enters the World Between Worlds, and we get to see what it looks like, which you can see below. The World Between Worlds would also show up in Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker, the visual dictionary. So
yeah, why would they bring that up? Why would they? It's
the reset button. In the book, it reads, unattributed visualization of the chain worlds theorem, also known as the World Between Worlds. And they have it right here. Interestingly enough, the visual dictionary also revealed something called the netherworld of unbeing that allows transit to any point across the cosmos. It described the Force as a twisted ribbon lining the perimeter of all reality. So after asserting that the title card depicts the World Between Worlds, Doomcock would refer back to a previous rumor he reported on. My agents were reporting that Ahsoka and the Veil of the Force would be instrumental in erasing the damage that Kennedy wrought. Now it appears the rumor was well-founded. Well, why would Dave Filoni put a kill switch, a reset button in Rebels, unless they thought, well, if we ever need to fix this, we can do it.
It's just interesting, though, because if that was the case, how come in all the years of the Jedi, no one's ever done it? Or do they do it, but we just don't know because that's the new reality and you never saw the old one.
It's the Disney Star Wars reality. Who the hell knows? I mean, I guess this is better than just rebooting Star Wars completely and starting over with a brand new Luke and a brand new Han, even though they've kind of already done it.
Yeah.
And they will continue to do it. But he points out that all the shows that were announced none of them take place in the sequel trilogy era.
They're staying away from that. They are totally staying away from that.
Yeah, he said it has nothing to do with the sequel trilogy because they're preparing to discard it. He said Disney's out of the sequel trilogy business.
Nothing of value was lost.
Yeah, well, I think you're only as good as your last movie, and they saw how The Rise of Skywalker performed, all the backlash, and then they're comparing that to The Mandalorian, and they're like, well, The Mandalorian's doing pretty good. Maybe we should do more of this.
Honestly, they effed up the entire thing the moment they didn't put the original cast together in The Force Awakens. Yeah. You screwed up as of that, and from there on, it was already going to be a shit show.
Yes, that should actually be in the Star Wars font. Shit show. And then
there you go. That's what you should be your for the image for this. It should be
shit show.
Anyway, sorry, you can't put that.
I don't know if I can put that on YouTube.
I don't think you can.
Well, some people are very salty, including Comic Book Resources, that they keep going back to the original trilogy era, exploring already established Star Wars characters.
Or they're going to go to New Republic, which was earlier yet, so it's not sequel time. But they're mad because they're like, we should see new things. We need to see more new things. It goes on about Headland's thing being exciting, and I'm like, no. It's not, because she's going to F it up, guaranteed, because it's Kathleen Kennedy thing.
They have to keep old school fans happy. And this is a balancing act. Like, I understand that, you want to take a franchise in a totally different direction, but at that point, what point does it no longer resemble the franchise that people fell in love with? They fall in love with the characters and the settings and the themes, whatever. They want to know more about these characters. And if you take it in a totally different direction, you might as well just start over.
Right.
And you can go too far. And I think they know, like, okay, nostalgia sells. Nostalgia sells. Let's try to unfuck Star Wars.
Well, yeah, you guys have done it your way, and all you did was lose lots of money. And now, when you're doing merchandise, it's all going back to classics. All of it's going back to classics. When they were announcing new Black Series figures and everything else, all of it's going back to classics because that's what people actually effing want.
And we saw this start actually with the Rise of Skywalker merchandise. There was very little of it. And it was all intermixed with original trilogy stuff. I mean, there was some prequel era stuff and Clone Wars stuff, but for the most part, when you saw the merchandise for the Rise of Skywalker, the kiosks where they had set up, the end caps, it was like they'd have some Dios, but then it would be mixed in with R2-D2.
Well, and it was funny because they had like the Dio that was a plush that made noise, and they also had BB-8 and they had R2-D2. Now, they only had a couple BB-8s and R2-D2, but R2-D2 was the first thing gone right off. I was lucky to grab one. And then BB-8 was shortly after, and nobody wanted Dio. They were clearancing out Dio for like a couple bucks, because no, I should have bought him, but I didn't, because I'm like, F you. And nobody wanted
That's
the stupid...
a droid. That's your droid.
That's my droid. That is
F
the
you.
Geeky droid. F you. And it means like female something. Anyway.
F-U-G-K.
GK. Oh, Geeky?
Yeah.
Okay. Or GS for Geeky Sparkles.
There you go.
But, or GKS. Anyway, you got me distracted.
I'm sorry.
But the R2s went like right off. And anything that was classic trilogy, it was selling off the display. But the stuff that was the sequel trilogy, it was still there and ended up on the clearance shelf, like the Rose Tico figures and all that stuff. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and they learned their lesson, a very painful lesson from The Last Jedi, that, those toys sat there. Now, the Force Awakens figures did sell pretty well because people were, at that point, legitimately excited about the sequel trilogy. So they're buying everything they could buy. And there's still a lot of it left, but not like The Last Jedi. And you could see the decline, like from The Force Awakens, where they went all out and they had all kinds of vehicles and playsets and figures and stuff, to Rogue One, where they even brought another AT-AT out, or whatever it's called in Rogue One, the other walker. And then they stopped making those big playsets. Like the Rise of Skywalker came out and they did not have a new Millennium Falcon that I'm aware of available.
Well,
no big playsets.
They weren't going to spend the money because they lost the money with The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And no matter what the media tells you, you can trace it all back to The Last Jedi as when it all went to shit.
So,
sorry.
Yeah, are they going to bank on characters that people know and love? Yeah, of course they are. They have to play it safe. Now, they kind of squeezed Leslie Headland's stuff in there at the very end, but it was mostly about, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Lando Calrissian and Ahsoka Tano and
Rogue Squadron. And the 3PO R2-D2 droids. Yeah. It was about stuff people recognized and knew because...
money.
Yeah, and that's what's going to sell. Those people care about. Because the takeaway they've taken from this is that people don't want new characters. That's not the issue. The issue was people liked new characters. They liked Poe, they liked Finn, they liked these characters. But they took characters that they set up to be, important characters of the franchise, and because they were male, they kind of shit all over them. And then they kept inserting other characters in there that were there just because they were the foil to the men because they were women. And the way they did it was why people didn't like it. If they had done it in a different way, if they had done it that these characters were equal, they hadn't lowered the men to elevate the women, people would have probably liked the new characters. If they hadn't made Rey the effing Mary Sue that she was, people might have liked her. If they had made Finn the Jedi train with Rey, people would have liked it. The problem wasn't they had new characters. The problem is in the way they dealt with and handled the new characters.
Yeah.
The people had a problem with, and they already ruined it for people. People are like, well, that was dumb.
Yeah.
And then they treated fans like shit. That didn't help your case any.
They're doing damage control. And I think the reason Kathleen Kennedy is getting to keep her job, and we talked about this before in Pirates and Princesses, WDW Pro put an article up and he said basically The Mandalorian is the reason she's keeping her job. So yeah, are they going to announce more spin-offs of The Mando? Are they going to follow that pattern? Absolutely, because they gotta make money.
Well, I'm mad because they were saying that there's probably going to be a Cara Dune spinoff, and now they're not announcing that, and I have to wonder if it's because of Twitter having a shit fit. But meanwhile, the fans have a shit fit about Headland, and that doesn't get stopped. They double down the hell on that, but because Twitter.
It depends on which direction the shit is flowing from. They need to. I think a lot of these companies need to have a blanket policy and just be like, I don't care what your politics are. Do not go out there and antagonize fans, and that's on both sides. Do not go out there and say anything super controversial. You're trying to represent the brand. Don't get into Twitter fights. Better yet, stay off Twitter or just tweet sparingly and run it through our PR people. I know it sucks, but people are so hypersensitive today that anything you say will totally be used against you,
100%.
used against the brand,
100%.
used against the company. Yeah, so it's... but let's finish up with this.
Okay, yeah, so
new.
Okay, so StarWars.com did a story on this, and they're presenting it as, oh, look, it's gender-neutral clothing for kids. It's not. It's a gender-neutral design on the prints, but my comment is, Star Wars has always been gender-neutral. I'm sorry, but they're like, that's why I even said, how is this news? Because it's like, imagine that. They have Star Wars characters that have been on boys and girls clothes for years.
Yeah.
And even the designers were like, we just did a design that could appeal to everyone. And they said that gender neutral was only in because they had some of their pieces were ones that that could go either way. But they have dresses in there and stuff. It's not gender neutral. But they said they asked him about what's on your checklist to be incorporated in each piece and about mobility. And they're like, yeah, our first most important factor is creating extremely comfortable yet cool pieces that we would literally wear ourselves. 100% agree with you. As a designer, that's what you should do. For the Star Wars inspired collection, we started with the most beloved, I don't know how to say it.
New silhouettes.
New silhouettes. Most of them being gender neutral. I went from there. So it wasn't even about being gender neutral, but that's what the flippin' StarWars.com ran with.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's not even what this is about. They're like, we made a cool design, classic characters that boys and girls would like to wear in comfortable clothes. That's the point of the whole thing. And StarWars.com is trying to make it about, oh, look, it's, gender neutral.
Looks gender neutral to me.
But my problem with it isn't the designs. The designs are cool. Like, I would have wore that dress. The problem is the prices. $97 for a dress.
$97.
For a kid's dress that goes up like from size newborn up. I'm like, hell, I wouldn't pay $97 for a dress that fits me.
Footy jammies, $73.
Yeah, I have more problem with the fact that they're overcharging significantly.
Yeah.
Than I do with the fact. But they're talking about their designs, and the designs are pretty flippin' cool. I like the designs. And the designers, their focus wasn't to be gender neutral. Their focus was to make cool designs for everyone. And then StarWars.com, they're already trying to perpetuate this narrative.
Yeah.
What's buzzword for 2020? Gender neutral's a new buzzword. Get it in there, push it.
The Force, so you're saying the Force is gender neutral.
Like it's always been.
Oh.
I love this. Basically, they kept saying that women were kept out for years, and now they're going to gender neutrality because that we shouldn't identify fans by their gender like it's always effing been.
A lot of Disney clothes in the theme parks are actually like gender blind.
Yeah,
like
they're
the spirit
unisex.
jerseys and stuff. I mean,
sometimes they're girly colors, but a lot of times, and I know a lot of guys that wear those colors too, and a lot of times they're not. I just can't wrap my head around it. Like, Star Wars has always been gender neutral.
Well, StarWars.com, if you were really progressive, this boy would be wearing the dress and not the girl.
Is that the dress or a shirt?
That is a dress, I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. It could be a shirt.
Yeah, so...
But so I'm like, really?
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting development. I do believe that Disney, especially now being in the financial situation they're in, again, we're seeing original trilogy. We're seeing, beloved characters getting their own shows. You're not going to see, I think they were trying to make a case for Dr. Aphra getting a show because Dr. Aphra was...
they are, yes.
Yeah, comic book resources. Nobody gives a shit about Dr. Aphra. It's other than sites like CBR. They don't care. But Ahsoka Tano, yes. Obi-Wan, yes. Cassian Andor, yeah. They care. So Disney's got, possibly they're going to get their shit together. I don't know. But
if they do, it's only because they're tired of losing money.
That's just it.
And their whole focus moving forward is theatrical and streaming. It would be really dumb of them to not listen, before they get away with it because the parks propped them up. But now they don't have that.
Disney has never done anything dumb before.
No, never. They never do anything stupid.
If they could unfuck something, if they could use...
You just like saying that. You just like saying that.
I do like saying that.
Today's show is brought to you by the term...
Unfuck.
There you go. I'm
enough
trouble with my mom.
If they could use the Force to unfuck Star Wars, they would go back in time and tell the Imagineers to not listen to Kathleen Kennedy when building Galaxy's Edge. And they would make it original trilogy, because that's where all the money is.
Well, it's set up in a way that if they wanted to go back to the original trilogy, they easily could. But that would cost money. So
they'll have it, but they can fix Splash Mountain, right? They can change Splash Mountain. All right, so we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yep.
Okay, so please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.